First question, where'd you get the SMU bow tie?
Well, it was something that they picked up for me, the staff picked up for me, because I told them I was a bow tie guy and I wanted to represent that. And they said, well, we can get you an SMU bow tie. I said, that would be absolutely perfect. And they did, and I appreciate it. I like it.
Well, where's the bow tie, kind of your tradition, come from?
Well, it started a long time ago. My dad's a barber. So everything about my dad, he wants you to go out and represent yourself with class. And I always associated as a young guy, bow tie being a label of class. A lot of people think I'm Muslim. You know, when they first saw it, they thought I was Muslim. But I'm Southern. So being from the South, along with the bow tie, and thinking about it being a class act, that's pretty much why I wear it.
I never heard that story before. That makes total sense.
That's why the bow tie is there.
So how's this day been for you?
This day's been absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna tell you, it's been a dream come true. I mean, I joked with Rick when they called me and told me about it, that they want me to be a Mustang. And I told him my first words was, don't play. He said, I wouldn't play with anything like that. He said, we really want you to be our next head coach. And my next word was, Rick, I worked my whole life for this. I prepared my whole life for this. So today was like a dream come true. Whirlwind, a lot going on, many moving parts, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So where was your family on vacation?
We had just landed. My wife planned this trip about 6 months ago because she knows my schedule is extremely hectic.
Right. Yes.
And we landed in Las Vegas because she wanted me to give my daughter and my son some time and go see some shows and stuff, some things that can make us all stay together for long periods of time. As soon as we landed, I got the call. I mean, I was taking the luggage off the belt and walking outside to put it in the shuttle. And I got the call, and then Rick told me I needed to get back here. And my son lost it. He cried because he thought that was just going to spoil his vacation. But we're going to get him back there and have a good time with him.
Did you accept right away, or did you tell Rick that you had to think about it and talk it over with your family?
Yeah, well, my family was there. Rick was smart enough to ask. He said, is your family there with you? And then he was strategic. He said, well, what's your wife's name again? So he covered all bases, but there was no hesitation on my part. As I told you guys earlier, when I met with the support staff, when I came here and I felt the energy, I felt the passion about the commitment, I figured it was right for me being a first-time coach getting an opportunity like this in a city like this with the support that we have here. It was a no-brainer.
What was harder, selling SMU on the idea that you're the right guy, or leaving your alma mater?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know which one is hardest. It's hard to say because they both are extremely tough. I have a lot of love for the University of Texas. I came there, boy, I think I left a man. I have so many friends and family members there. But to get an opportunity of a lifetime, both of them are priceless.
Did Coach Aston try to talk you into staying?
Of course she did. I mean, she understood because she was once in the position that I'm in, to where she had put so much work in and probably had the passion to want to have the opportunity to reach the highest level, which is to run the program, inject your philosophies and everything that you've experienced over the years in these young ladies, and try and put the program where I think so many people here are passionately looking for it to be.
Now, Mr. Hart had just talked about how you were a name that kept coming up and how people here in the state know you. Now, was this an opportunity that was waiting for the right fit, that you would even, the chance to be the first head coach, passed up on other ones previously waiting for something to be a right fit like you feel this is?
Yes, I would say, to answer your question, I was selected. I had other opportunities that I was offered, and it either wasn't the right time or it wasn't what SMU had to offer. I'm just glad that Rick got those calls. I'm glad that Monique got those calls, and I'm glad those people said the things that they said, because I couldn't have sold myself that way. That's why it's amazing. I really believe now that every day is an interview. So those people that evidently made those phone calls must have watched my body of work or had some contact with me, so they made it happen.
As far as being selected, what made this the right time, the right opportunity to take that step to finally be the head coach?
Well, when I came to campus, I can feel the passion, and I think what the men's basketball program has done is generated and the hiring of Coach Morris, I do think that have generated some excitement. I think it's generated a level of expectations, and I think the women's program is hungry for that, and I hope to be the coach that can inject it into the program.
Did you know Larry Brown before you interviewed down here? Because obviously they said you met with Larry. I think everybody in basketball knows Larry a little bit.
Yeah. And I had met with him. We played here in the Big 12 tournament a couple years ago. We actually came over here and practiced. I talked with Coach Brown because I also know Coach Tom Jankovic, who coached me my freshman year.
Okay.
Tim Jankovic coached me my freshman year at Texas.
You didn't know that?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Gave me some incredible nuggets. Gave me one nugget that I think is intricate. I mean, I think is. He told me some things that I think really made me lock and load, that I think had a lot to do with me becoming a pro.
Well, was that on Bob Weltich's staff?
Under Bob Weltich, yes.
Yeah,
extremely tough coach. Tom was positive. He was in the trenches, kept me focused. Always indebted to Coach James.
The other thing that Rick said is they got a phone call from Gino, and Gino wasn't recommending 3 guys or 5 guys. He was recommending you. How do you know Gino? How far back do you go with him?
Well, if anybody wants to be, well, I'm in women's basketball. The person who's dominating women's basketball is Gino Ariel. And I think being a male, I went up and I spent 2 days to learn from Coach Gino.
But how long ago was that?
I was working at the University of Georgia with Andy Landers, and my plan was to go when I was at LSU, but he had started working with USA Basketball, so he wasn't available. So when I went with Coach Landers, the first year that he hired me, I told him I wanted to go up and spend a couple days with Coach Gino. He said, well, you should. And I went up, and it was tremendous. He gave me some incredible information, some knowledge about when he started, some of the hurdles he had to overcome. But he told me you have to stay true to who you are, and that's how you have to recruit. And I remember that, and that's how the relationship built. And you would know recently he's been kicking my butt the last couple of years, so he jokes about that anyway, but he's always told me if you ever got an opportunity, I would be more than glad to help you, and he's done that.
What's it like to have his endorsement from, like you said, the guy dominating women's basketball for the last several years, and now he's in your conference on the other bench?
Yeah.
Now he's the enemy.
Well, he'll never be the enemy. He'll be my competitor, and I'm extremely competitive. So I will compete extremely hard when I play against him. He's dominating the game. To have a guy like that in your corner to make a telephone call like for you, who understand what it takes to be successful, I don't know if that, I mean, he's watching me, his eyes are on me, and I appreciate him giving me the biggest compliment that he can possibly do is, after winning the championship, make a call for me to get my first opportunity.
And you talked about the bow tie coming from your dad being an example of class. How does that translate at all, and how so, into you being a coach and your coaching philosophy?
I think it does. I think everything I do have a purpose. I mean, when I say I dress and I carry myself a certain way, I think that's why I'm standing here in front of you today. I think all the people who've come in contact with me throughout my entire process and journey as a coach remember something about me. What it is they remember is either going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I think now the fashion statement is everybody remember me by the bow tie, because everybody doesn't wear them. And I like that, but the thing that means the most to me when they say what my character is, what type of coach I am, what type of man, what type of father, husband, all of that means a whole lot more. So it's positive.
Now, is being selective, much like they talked about the comparisons to Coach Morris, do you think that, or how were you able to run the program in some similar ways he does, with as far as establishing local relationships and being active on campus here? Is that a model that you think you can use in a similar way?
No question. It's the #1. That's #1 priority. When you're talking about locally, the kids that's playing in this local area, first and foremost, they've already created a fan base. They are already familiar. Everybody has an idea of who these individuals are. So therefore, there's some investment. So the investment will bring them here. I mean, they want to give, and they want to continue to follow these kids. That model is extremely successful. The funny thing about it is I'm just happy that SMU is in Dallas, or in Texas, because it's a talent-rich state. Now, some people can't do that locally and become successful because they may be in a dry state where there's no talent. We have loads of talent. Everybody from all over the country coming here to get talent. So what Coach Morris has done, yes, that's a formula for success. And I know that as a young coach, you know that. Now, what Gino is doing up in Storrs, Connecticut is unbelievable, because Storrs is not loaded with a whole bunch of talent. He's been the one to be able to be successful by going out getting the best players from every other state and getting them to Storrs, Connecticut. That's not my intentions. I think Texas is a very, very prideful state, family-oriented state. So I think if we can keep some of these kids right here in this area at SMU, I think I can have tremendous success for a very long time.
When a head coach moves from one program to another, they sometimes have a meeting with their former team where they say goodbye and they say, I'm moving on. Did you have that with the Longhorns? And what are you going to miss most about Coach Aston and that program?
I haven't even had a chance to get back to Austin when this has happened. So the team found out with me being on the road, headed to vacation. And now I'm already being announced as the new head coach, and I still haven't seen one of them face to face. Yes, we've communicated and texted on the phone, and some of the text messages brought me to tears. So it's extremely hard because I've invested some of those players and recruited them since they was in the 6th grade. And now they're freshmen, sophomores, and even juniors at the University of Texas. So that's extremely tough. You know, some of them said things like, you know, I've always wanted to play for you, you know, but now I no longer have the opportunity to play for you, but I'm going to take what it is that you've given me and continue that. What that does to me, come on, you know, you can't put it into words.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
We know what you were as a player, but what is a Travis Mays player? The sort of person you look for in terms of bringing in the system? Are there certain qualities you look for?
Yes, and you can only start with the motor. You can only start with what you see on how hard a kid works. You don't, and you want to see a competitor. I think I can coach any competitor. It's hard to coach a kid who is just truly talented but don't really want to compete. They're going to frustrate you as a coach. And sometimes you have to take those kids because they are so talented. I think the good thing about me is this is what I do in recruiting. I don't only watch that kid, I ask everybody that knows that kid what's driving that kid, what's pushing that kid, and that's the way I can find them, as you put it, find another Travis Mays in each one of them.
You talked about visiting with Coach Brown and Coach Jankovic during this process. What did they tell you, not just about being a head coach, but about specifically coaching at SMU and what you can expect here?
Well, they didn't give me all the nuggets. They just told me they're extremely excited because of the energy. I hope to meet with them soon so they can make me avoid all the bumps in the road here at SMU. I want it to be smooth sailing, and I think it will. I have a good relationship with them, and I think I will have a good relationship with Coach Morris, because in order for me to recruit, I think I'm going to have to use every last one of the coaches here. And if it becomes a family and each one of them can give input, because they know a whole lot more about this campus, they're more educated about it, so I'm going to use them to be successful here.